Good afternoon. This is Harold with Host HCAP. Another day, another dollar. We're here again, and I got two special guests with me here, man. It's been a blessing. It's a blessing. I got my long-term friend Dobama, the Hood Obama. If you don't know, now you know. You know what I'm saying? You know, I'm thankful for you being here today, and I got my dog here as well. You want to introduce yourself?
My name is Subtweet Shawn. I'm a local upcoming comedian. You know, I do my
where they probably saw you at? Give them a little clue or whatever. You know, your face
look
look familiar. They probably like his face is so familiar. I seen him somewhere.
I got a couple things I did. I made up a dance called The Dolphin. It was featured on 2K Apple commercials.
That's dope. That's dope.
I got this video. I said, y'all mind if I praise God?
Right. I seen that like 5-6 times. That's my favorite video. I'm like, that's dope, man. I was so happy to see that, man. That was very inspirational, positive, and I think you gave it a good spin on it, man. That was real good. I much praises for that. And I appreciate both of y'all being here today. So we're gonna start off the show like this. Something we like to talk about. You know, we True Hurts podcast, so we like to say, you know, what's our truth. Okay. And basically what you mean by that is like, what do you represent, what you stand for? Right. And I'm gonna let you start it off first.
Man, that's wow. If I had to sum it up in one word, I would say I represent compassion. Mm-hmm. You know, compassion because I have a formula to my life where my pain is my power. Okay. You know, throughout life, I experienced a great deal of adversity or adverse situations. Mm-hmm. However, there was something that someone, a slogan. Somebody told me, hurt people hurt people. True. And as I worked with some youth in New Orleans, just about that, I kind of flipped it. Like, all right, how long are we going to continue to hurt one another? Mm-hmm. So I was like, how about we change that to inspire people? True. So that it enabled me to externalize my pain, which then in turn became my power and empowerment to others when I shared it.
That's dope.
So that's why I said compassion.
That's dope, man. Yeah. That's dope. Yeah, I commend that. That's awesome. What about you?
I'm just all about making people smile. Okay. You know, if I go one day without making somebody smile, I'm gonna have a bad day. Yeah. You know, I gotta make people laugh. That's really, you know, it's my purpose here on earth. I gotta make people laugh.
Make people feel good.
Like even when I'm gonna think about when I was in like 5th grade, I knew that's when I wanted to be a comedian. Mm-hmm. And that's crazy because people, you know, you usually wouldn't expect like a little kid to be like, oh, I want to grow up to be a comedian. Mm-hmm. But, you know, that's what I had installed in my head, and ever since then.
That's what's up. That was your mindset. Hey, that's amazing, man. That's amazing. I'm glad to see you pursuing your dreams. A lot of people don't even get to find that purpose in life. You know, a lot of people don't get to get that passion until the 30s, 40s, after they worked all their life away, you know, then they finally realize what their purpose is. So it's dope that you already on that wave. Right. And stick with it, man. You know,
especially
stick with it.
Being young.
Exactly. You're on a whole nother level and a whole nother
I was tore up when I was your age.
How old are you?
I'm 19.
You're 19? That's what's up, man. That's what's up.
19,
that's what's up.
I was still trying to figure things out.
Exactly. When I was 19.
Yeah, I remember. I was
going haywire when I was 19. So yeah, keep it up. Keep up the great work, and yeah, for sure. So Dobama, let's see what.
Oh snap!
He came back and blessed me with the Dorian Francis official tee, man.
Yeah, man.
This bitch is fresh.
Say, bro,
the quality is amazing.
Say, bro,
the print is dope. I wish I would have bought one sooner. Really, I need to get more now.
Okay. Hey, what's crazy is like, damn, you gotta be careful what you say and what you think. Mm-hmm. What you because like I just said, like when I was 19, I was like, but actually when I was 19, well, no, I was 20. When I was 20, at 20, I started my first business, a marketing company, and we did these T-shirts for our marketing company. It was called Quiet Storm Entertainment, and man, we did like we did one of the first year Jackson State and Southern brought their football game to the Superdome. We did the official after party at the Hyatt. We had C. Murder as the special guest and all that kind of stuff.
Oh man, that's
and like listen, I didn't know nothing about promotion and none of that stuff.
You was just going off.
It was just like I'm like things I was exposed to. Mm-hmm. However, what I started doing was I started putting my signature on my shirts. Mm-hmm. I'm like, man, Dorian Francis, man, that's a brand.
For sure.
And I started kind of like an unofficial focus group because what I would do is I was working in a hotel at the time in guest services. When I would see people with designer suits on, I'd be like, man, what kind of suit is that? They'd be like, Hugo Boss. I was like, man, bro, they got this classical thread line called Dorian Francis. Have you ever heard of it? Right. I was like, I think I did. You know? No, I'm like,
just to test the water.
Right, dog, you never heard of it. But Like, and
But planting that seed though.
Yeah. So at 20, I had a vision.
Okay.
However, and be careful who you share your vision with, because I've had people to say, man, you be starting and stopping. Well, I was talking to one of my friends from Seattle, and he was like, I was like, man, it's funny how people buying shirts with my name on it. And he was like, Doe, you have to think about how you branded your name over the last 15 years.
Exactly.
And now when people wear the shirt, it represents so many different things.
True.
So it wasn't the fact. Yeah, some of it was procrastinating, but the major part is timing.
Exactly.
So
Exactly.
It ended up coming around to me, and I actually I wanted to do something that represented a universal symbol. So I thought about Life by Dorian Francis, but I think Baby from Cash Money, he and Carl Kanai came together and they did something called Life. So I was like, all right, cool, I won't do that. And then I thought about love, and I thought about love because I was like, all right, man, I want to use an anatomical heart as my symbol, because everybody had one, and from that, I made the move, and I posted it on social media like, hey, shirts, and the next day my inbox was jumping.
That's
like
right.
I've been overwhelmed.
Right.
Like I actually been meeting with some manufacturers, just talking about mass production, because I've been making the shirts myself, and it's been wearing me down like crazy. But the sweat equity that's involved, like I have an entire system. Okay. Like I can train anybody. I could train a 9-year-old kid, how to do shirts and stuff. So
I definitely come get some lessons myself.
That's always important to me. And that's like when you call me Shawn, I like whenever I'm involved in something, try to get Shawn involved.
So how did you two meet?
So Shawn, mom, and I went to high school together. Okay. And one day, I'm not sure if I've been knowing Shawn since he was a kid. Okay. You know what I mean? However, we didn't establish a relationship to later on in life. And I'm not sure if it's your mom called me about working with you, or when I came to Lake Area that time.
It was when you came to school. It was for it was some type of career day.
Yeah, career day. Yeah.
We met. It was like in the hallway of the gym. I remember that.
Yep. So we started talking. He was just telling me about, he was working with the drama club? Yeah. Yeah. So I was just watching his energy, and one day his mom called me. And I was like, hey, listen, my son is into the music industry. I know you have knowledge about it. Would you like to sit down and, talk to him? And I was like, sure. And when I met with them, I not only wanted to work with them, but I wanted them to create their own business before I started working with them. Fortunately, they had a record out, and my Jazz Fest performance was coming up. I do this thing at the Jazz Fest every year called the New Orleans Experience, a hip-hop experience where I expose different artists from New Orleans. So what I said was, all right, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put y'all. It was probably a couple weeks before Jazz Fest. Had my roster solidified. Okay. And I'm like, listen, I'm gonna put y'all on that set to get exposure, and I'm gonna pay y'all. That's what's up. And y'all take that money and y'all start y'all LLC.
That's dope. That's dope. So how was that experience?
It was dope. Like, I think that they. Was that a weekend that we did that on?
I think so. I think it was Friday or Saturday.
I performed, and just me going back to school that Monday, like, man, I just performed that Saturday. Nobody can tell me nothing.
Right. That's what's up. Yeah. So what song did you perform?
It was the Dolphin song.
The Dolphin song?
It was real popular at that time. Okay. Yeah, everybody, doing it. A lot of people didn't even know we made it.
That's dope. That's tight, man. That's tight.
And what was even cooler about it, that set, we had a live band. Okay. So they was able to have the live band for the behind it, and it was like super. It was super awesome and exciting. So.
Hey, that's the man to get in contact with. If you need anything done, you need some resources. If you could get his line or his phone number, I'm telling you, do it, because he gonna plug you up. That's dope. But let's talk more about the label. Okay. So like you said earlier, you said represents love. Right. So how did you come up with that, and how do you encompass that in your brand?
So man, like I've been a laborer of love, like, man, as long as I can remember. When I was a kid, I worked at youth camps. Okay, I remember that. And even in the hood, I started an organization called Young Entrepreneur Society. Right. Out of the mere fact of my little nephew.
Right, and I remember us selling waters on the crosswalks and stuff. Yeah, so I remember that.
So that came about for his birthday. Okay. I was coming pick him up to take him to dinner. But when I made it by, I forgot how y'all will all buy it. But it was like 9 of y'all. Mm-hmm. And I had made a promise to myself when I was younger that if I do something with one kid, everybody, have to experience that. And I elaborate a little further as we talk more. But when I came, I was like, I pulled him in the car. I was like, listen, you got to take one for the team. I was about to take you to get something to eat and shopping, but I can't leave your homeboys. And you come back and you talk about the experience, and now they feeling like
left out.
Man, so I was like, hey, listen, we can all go somewhere. He was like, man, let's do it. And we end up going to, if I'm not mistaken, I think we went to Cheesecake Bistro. So we end up having dinner at Cheesecake Bistro. I told the waiter the waitress before we sat down, I gave her like $30. I was like, listen, I want them to be able to do whatever they want to do at this table. Even if they take the food ordered and dump it on the, and my thing was I wanted to kill the inferiority complex.
Right.
I wanted, the young guys to feel like they can go into a restaurant and they can have their way. Now, what I did tell them was, I was like, y'all have to do whatever y'all do at this table. And I was younger, so it probably wasn't the best idea. However, also what I did, I had like a stack of money because I used to work as a bellman at a hotel, so I kept like stacks of money. So I said, listen, I'm going to pass this stack around the table. I said, if any money come up missing, I would know and you would just be removed from the table. So I passed the money around the table and I was like, everybody take a couple dollars and, hold on to it. And at the end of the day, I had them to tip the waitress. And I explained that. And one of the guys was like, Mr. Dorian, this is better than Golden Corral. You know what I mean? So, like, I always aim to create experiences through love.
That's dope.
So, like, I came up with Love by Dorian Francis, but I had a friend of mine. She's a model / nerd / she's a
woman of many hats.
Yeah. Her name is Monique Hill.
Shout out to Monique Hill.
Yeah, she's a brilliant mind. We always bounce ideas off each other. And she was like, I like love, but you got to put a label on it. And I was like, wait, the love label. And she was like, well, she said, the love label. You got to make it the love label. And I was like, whoa. I was like, that's it.
That's dope.
You know what I mean? So oftentimes we sit around thinking that people go through this elaborate process to come up with certain things.
Nah.
And it sometimes be that
we get the pieces from the people around us. Yeah. Yeah.
And
sure.
that's when it became, when Monique said that, we had just had lunch talking about how we will partner, bring our lines together because I wanted to do a lingerie line. Okay. And I was like, I want you to be the person to partner with me on it. And after we finished lunch, we continued to talk. And she came up with the Love label by Dorian Francis. So one of my ultimate goals with doing the Love label is last year I used to do a lot of school supply giveaways throughout the city.
True. And
one of the elders in the community, well, actually my older cousin, I call him an elder, my older cousin, Eldon Anderson, he challenged me. He said, "Though, listen, kids have backpacks, but they don't have uniforms. So like you need to focus on a uniform initiative." So I reached out to Big Frida, I reached out to a few people, and what I wanted to do was do a concert where we take all of the money from the concert and we use it to buy a uniform for kids. So all of our schedules were kind of like mixed up, so we didn't end up doing that. But one of the guys from the neighborhood that I told about it, there was a lady, he called me, she had 2 sons. So, I went and purchased their uniforms, their sneakers and everything. They couldn't start school. So I was like, man, that was cool. And it's funny how things happen. When I met, because I didn't want to meet the lady nor the kids. I'm like, it's not about me, it's about the service. I just want them to do well in school. Send me pictures of their report cards and I'm good. As long as they doing well, I'm good. And they're like, nah, man, I really want you to meet the kids and meet the lady. Come to find out, the lady, I went to high school with her. And I knew the kid's father, but we didn't even know none of this happened. So it just like good, like, man, when you're a laborer of love, you help your people by doing things. True. So and bringing it all together, my website will be live maybe within the next month or so. Once the website go live, 10% of my gross proceeds are going to be going towards my scholarship, my Dress for Success scholarship. Okay. I'm going to give away uniform. Well, I'm going to provide young people who parents can't afford to purchase them uniforms twice a year, before school start and right before kids go to
the love label is gonna be one of the biggest things, not only in the community, but in the world in general, man. I see big things for it. I see you next to Ralph Lauren.
Oh man,
I'd rather rock this than a Ralph Lauren tee any day.
And even with Ralph, man, like So like my mind is just like it's super
complex.
Yeah, I can't even think of a word to explain it. It's just awesome in the way that it works. Thank God for creating me with this mind. However, I studied Ralph Lauren for maybe about 3 or 4 weeks. Read every article I could find on him, looked at every video I can watch on him, and I realized that we had a lot of similarities. You know, Ralph Lauren grew up in, if I'm not mistaken, Brooklyn, New York, and he was very indecisive, didn't know what he wanted to do. He wanted to play sports, he wanted to do this, wanted to do that, and that reminded me a lot of myself.
Okay.
So he ended up like creating a lifestyle brand. And you know, my thing was like when I'm inspired by somebody, I never want to become their competition. You know what I mean? I look at what they're doing effectively, and what I can do to either enhance it or do something where we can support one another.
Right.
So I won't explain what I'm going to do with the Love label, but you'll see it through actions. However, like I don't ever want to be in competition with Ralph Lauren.
True.
Because we're gonna provide a product, but our missions are totally different. Like I salute him. He did a pink polo line, and that was inspired by one of his friends that had breast cancer.
Okay.
When he found out that she had breast cancer, he did this logo, and then his friend passed away. So he went to this doctor to find out what he can do more to support people with cancer and cancer research. So he was like, man, we need a research center. So they founded so they came out with a pink pony collection, and they founded the Ralph Lauren for Cancer Care in Harlem, New York. Okay. So understanding all those things and knowing that my foundation was, I'm rooted in New Orleans. True. Like, man, I've done so many events. I've supported so many people. I've done so much for the city in terms of laboring, and a lot of the stuff I didn't even get paid for, because it was more of, all right, my contribution to my city. True. My investment to my city. You know, I want to invest through my sweat equity and my labor. The thing, because if I give you $100 and you don't know what to do with it, you spend it, then it's gone. Yeah. But if I demonstrate something, if I show you something, if I expose you to something,
give you something more valuable than funny, something that's teach a man how to fish type of thing.
Absolutely.
You know? Sure, definitely respect that. Yeah. So tell me more about your business and your brand.
Really, let's see, I got real serious with doing comedy maybe my junior year. Like when I was in middle school, I didn't really focus on the comedy thing. I was just living, playing sports, and got to high school. I made a transition because middle school, elementary, I was in Jefferson Parish. Okay. So it was a big transition of me going into Orleans Parish. Whole different crowd. Okay. So I had to get comfortable around the people I was around first until I felt like I could be myself. Yeah. And then my junior year came around. I'm not even gonna try to toot my own horn, but I feel
toot it. If you don't toot it, nobody gonna toot it. Toot your horn.
Yeah. My junior year, that's when that's when basically started running the school. Yeah. I'll run for homecoming. I'll win this. Senior year came, I won school president. Homecoming king, was a whole bunch of stuff started happening. So my popularity started growing. So I'm like, I gotta capitalize on this. I gotta start doing more videos. That's when more people started noticing me, That's when I had, my junior year was actually when I started, talking to Dorian. Okay. We got the dolphin thing going. Ever since then,
it's just been running. It's just been on and popping. So what's your future plan? What do you see for yourself and your brand in the future? What you running towards?
I basically want to be on somebody's movie screen. Like I said,
you don't want to be, you're going to be. Yeah. We're going to work out, Shawn is going to be one of the best comedians and actors, if not the best, to ever come from New Orleans.
That's what's up. That's a good goal.
Everything on that.
I like how you spoke that into existence.
Everything on that.
Yeah, and you got to know that too.
He's too talented.
You got to know that too. You got to put that in your heart. You got to put that in your mind. You know what I'm saying? And live that. Tell yourself that in the morning. Make sure that's your affirmations. Because I see it in you, man. You're gonna be gold for sure. Right. So keep it up. So we got a segment in our show where it's called Appreciation Phone Call, and I'm gonna let you do the appreciation phone call. I have something else. So the appreciation phone call. Call somebody you might have not heard from in a while. So your grandmother, your mom, auntie, uncle. I don't care, anybody, your girlfriend, whatever, and let them know how much you appreciate them and how much you love them and why you appreciate them right now on set. So let me see the phone.
That's fact. I like that. That's dope.
Yeah. And you gotta put them on speaker so you can know what's up and all that good stuff.
Hey, salute.
Yeah.
Salute y'all for
Yeah,
that.
you already know.
This,
You already
this
know.
Nice. This is nice platform.
And we do this just to, make sure people know to, spread that positivity to their loved ones. Check on your grandmother. Check on the people you love. Sometimes we get so busy and caught up in our own life to where we forget to, call and say thank you. You know.
Right. You
So
said somebody I didn't speak to.
Anybody. I mean, it's up to you. Whatever you feel more comfortable with.
Just call my mom.
Call my mom. Mom is always, mom is always number one. That's number one. She gonna answer.
Always answer. Hello.
Hey.
What you doing, man?
I'm at work.
You busy? Like, are you actually doing work, or you just sitting at the desk?
I'm just sitting at the door.
True hurts.
Well, I was calling, to tell you that I love you, and I really appreciate everything that you've done for me.
Oh, where did that come from? But I appreciate you telling me that. I love you too.
All right, just get back to work now. Thank you again for everything.
Okay. Who is in the background there?
You're on True Hurts podcast right now. We have a segment where we call someone we love and let them know how much we appreciate them and why we appreciate them. So he decided to call you today, and we thank you for being a part of it. And we thank you for everything that you do.
Oh, I feel special.
You're very special. You're very special.
You are special, Don. This Dorian.
Hey, so I'm going to there in the background.
That's what's up. Yeah, we don't want to take you back from your work. We want to let you go. You have a blessed day, and we wish you the best.
Got me tearing up.
Thank you.
Got me tearing up. I got tears in my eyes.
All right, man.
Bye.
So that's what we're about to. It's all about love at the end of the day. And this episode is about. It's all about love. It's all about prosperity. So I'm glad, we came together and showed that today.
Yeah.
All right. So before we wrap it up, got something else important. Well, anything else you want to say, or anything, y'all want to talk about before?
One of the things that I'm most excited about, there's a few things, the line being one of the most important things, but about 6 years ago, I was the project manager and developer, I think it was project coordinator for after school programs in the city of New Orleans, with a specific focus on Sir T. Reed High School. Mm-hmm. And we had photography, videography, music production, creative writing, drama. We had a like maybe about 9 or 10 enrichments at that program. So when I saw all of those things going like individually, I worked for the New Orleans Jazz and Heritage Festival in their corporate office. So
right.
Special event and production, it's like one of my strong suits. So I was trying to figure out a way to do something that was culminating. So I pitched to the students. I was like, "Let's do a musical." It was like, "Mr. Dorian, you tripping? Like, you tripping? You blowing it?" I was like, "Well, let's do a reality show." They was like, and this one really touched home. I was like, "Let's do a reality show." They was like, "Nah." And I'm thinking like, this is the reality show era, but the connection that we had was so genuine that they was like, "Nah, man, we want to do something that's special." So we produced a record called Pass That GEE. The GEE is a standardized test, stand for the graduating exiting exam. So we did a song, we did a video, and the kids posted it on YouTube, and it generated over 85,000 views with no promotion. That's dope. So I was like, whoa, the momentum behind this. So they start planning on the loudspeaker before the kids took their test, as motivation. And the school asked me to put on a prep rally, and I decided that I was going to write a play. And I started writing a play, but as I continued to think about the kids and their characters, it developed into like 17 pages. So I presented it to the drama director, and we read it to the kids, and he was like, "Oh my God, can we start this today?" Right. And I'm like, "Y'all like it?" They was like, "We love it." So I was like, "Whoa!" So the drama instructor ended up getting with another kid, Richard. Miss Cassie was the director, and Richard was one of the students, and they revised it so that it speak directly to young people and not from an adult perspective, which is extraordinary because that's what I wanted to do. Right. Wanted to be a mentoring tool. And Richard also added a couple characters. I turned everything over to them, provided them with the resources, and they told me, we don't need you anymore. So I'm like, okay. They was like, we're going to take care of everything. And I had never, well, not ever, I had never worked on a production project like that with a large team, you know, and man, it's like we produced a movie. It's 33 minutes long. It's like super cool.
That's dope. When it comes out,
it's gonna come out. I'm working to have it to drop in maybe the fall or the beginning of the winter, the end of the fall, beginning of the winter, and lost it.
What you mean?
Sent the movie off to get the sound mastered, and the hard drive crashed. I met with Shawn and Cozy about actually casting them to reproduce it.
Okay.
You know, so we had conversations, and went presented to a couple youth organizations, and nothing turned up. So I ended up getting a call about a year ago, and the guy was like, "Dope, I found a copy of the movie." So he ended up sending me the email.
Okay.
He found a copy of the movie, and I called a videographer, and I was like, "Listen, I need a sound engineer that can level the sound." And he was like, "I got somebody that owed me a favor." I was like, "No, don't want the favors.
Right.
I want to pay for it.
Yeah.
I need to turn it up. I need to turn it around in 7 to 10 business days." So he's like, "Dope, trust me." My big brother Walter Bordell. Walter was like, "Listen, trust me," and I was like, "Well, I will call you every day until this project is turned up." He's like, "If you have to call me every day, do that."
Exactly.
I got you. And turned it around 7 to 10 business days. Have that. Was about to put it out, but I was like, I can't miss out on a golden opportunity of this blessing being delayed. And what ended up happening is I ended up doing a cash reunion 6 months ago.
Okay.
Inviting the students to come back to speak about their experience and how the program impacted their lives.
That's tight.
One of my kids, one of my students, he's in medical school. The other one is about to get his master's in social work. One of the little girls who was very, she had a very unique voice, and it would stay amplified. I'll say that. So her name is Treaty.
Shout out to Treaty.
Yeah, and actually, you know, I told Treaty one day, we had conversations. Everybody was like, "Man, listen, use your voice properly." And Treaty, if I'm not mistaken, finished from Southern University in communication. Okay. And she's like a rapper in New Orleans.
That's dope.
So she took that to another level. And
she's got an album out.
and she got an album out. Yeah, yep. So and one of my other students was the kid Burnell Taylor.
Okay, yeah, I know Burnell Taylor
on Idol. So like I put him out the class.
Okay.
His attitude was like, I was like, "Listen, dude, don't come back." So the next day he want to get back into the class, and I was like, if the students vote yes, I ain't letting you back.
Right.
And the students was like, "Yeah, let him back." And we sit down. He was like, "I'm sorry, Mr. Dorian. You know what I mean? And we had a great working relationship, man. I used to call him when he was on Idol, and we talked about how that experience, you know, prepared him for some of the harsh things, some of the experience that he had to deal with, the evolving experiences. So, have all that footage. Now I'm about to compile the information to where you have the movie and then a cash reunion. And we did 2 music videos. I'm gonna put those on that. Okay. And then my objective is to start targeting high schools. Okay. You know, and do mandated field trips so the kids could come and watch the movie, and also have some of the cast members to come and talk about it. And the goal, after we accomplish that goal, the money that we get from that. I just came back from Africa at the Essence Fest. Had to speak at a couple seminars. But when I was out there, I produced a record called "We Are Family." Okay. So the funds that we raised from this movie is going to be invested into shooting the movie. 75% in Africa and 25% in New
That's
Orleans.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
That's awesome. You make everything go full circle.
Yeah.
I don't know how you do it. But you do
God,
it very
man,
well,
God, grace, God, mercy, and
That's
God's
dope.
blessing, man.
So what's your inspiration to be so involved in the community and in all the young generation's lives? Because I feel like you have a heavy impact on so many, of the youth.
So I found out later in life, I was at odds with my pops because he wasn't in my life. And like I would hear stories about him, but he and I never had we never conversed about it. So I called him one day. I was in church. He was like, "Pray for something you never had before." So I prayed for a relationship with my pops. So I called him and was like, "Man, listen, you need to come talk to me. You need to meet me on the block. We need to talk." You know, and when we talked, I was like, "Man, I need you to tell me about your life. I'm tired of hearing it from my mom and other people." And my dad opened up the conversation with, "Son, I started shooting heroin when I was 15. I was like, "What?" Like, wait. Rewind that. Right. He was like, "Man, when I was 15 years old, is the first time I injected heroin into my veins." I was like, "Whoa!" And he was like, 15, I started shooting heroin. 17, I was facing 2 armed robbery charges, and your mom was pregnant. I ended up getting sentenced. I think he got sentenced his first for 7 years. So just think about it. Somebody that's 17 to 18 years old,
right, going through all of that. That's a
heroin
lot.
addict,
That's a
not snorting it. I mean, injecting it. So withdrawals, all that kind of stuff. Then he was about this big. You know what I'm saying? So and I was like, you can stop right there. You're forgiven. You know what I'm saying? You're forgiven.
And a lot of times we don't we be upset at our parents and mad over things that we have received, but it's more to the story than we know a lot of times.
So that man, and I said when I mentioned something about bringing the kids together, I said I would talk about it later. Well, my dad not being in my life, you know, and people like would come and get their kids, but wouldn't they'll leave me behind, and that made me feel like so like. Well, I don't have a dad. So I went and cried on the church steps one day, and I was like, God, why don't I have a dad? You know, and I was like, God, I'm gonna make a promise that whenever I'm in a position, I will never do something with a kid and leave another kid behind. Mm-hmm. If it's 7 kids, if I gotta spend my last, all 7 I'm gonna experience that together. You know, because I think that's how you kill hate, by exposing the kids to happy experiences together. So now they try to relive that collectively versus you coming back talking about what your dad doing for you. I don't have dads. My dad, I don't know him. Your dad in prison, his dad did, whatever. So it's just like we can't even join that experience. So just my thing is just like you said, man, Dobama, you know, when Obama meet the hood, Dorian, Dobama, you mix it together. But yeah, so that's why I'm so passionate about it. And I just felt like God, like I feel like when God manufactured me, you know, I was manufactured with all of those elements to be that. So I feel like I was manufactured by God, handcrafted by God to be and do exactly what I do.
That's your purpose.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's commendable, man. I think you've inspired to challenge myself to be more active in more people's lives as well, and to take that responsibility of not just leaving nobody behind type of mindset, because we definitely need more of that.
Right.
So I appreciate you for exposing that.
Yeah,
for sure.
And I you know, I just appreciate, you know, the information that I've given you, Shawn, you know, to see y'all push forward with that, you know, it holds me responsible to keep pushing, you know. So my whole thing is I never wanted to get into something because merely because of financial purposes or reasons.
True.
Simply because I feel like when your primary focus is on money only,
it could take you anywhere.
Yeah, and it limits your ability to want to maximize your potential.
True.
You know, so I never wanted to be that individual that had a job making $70,000 a year, $100,000 a year, and I get comfortable and complacent and not maximize my potential. So being able to step outside of that and follow my heart, follow my passion, you know, I'm gonna always, until I die, I'm gonna be setting trends and standards.
Right.
Which means that as long as y'all connected to me, we're all gonna be setting trends and standards. So
True.
that's extremely important to me.
That's dope. That's amazing. So before we wrap it up, I got another challenge that we're gonna do, and it's called the Speak It Into Existence Challenge. And I feel like this is a perfect time to do that on this note. And basically what we're gonna do is speak anything into existence that we want in our life, someone else's life. It could be small or big. And I'm gonna let you start first, and then you can come and end it off, okay? And you can tell the camera, let them know.
One of the things that I really want is I want my family to step into their purposes and be able to maximize. I want when we all reunite in heaven, for all of my family members that are still living and to the future generations that are going to be born, I want us all to tap into what God has blessed us with and to be able to maximize our potential and purpose, to where we the family that's God, like, man, y'all didn't leave no blessings on earth. Like, you know, y'all didn't come back with no inventory. Like, y'all left everything on earth. So I pray that, you know, prayer for my family and y'all, my little brothers, my family. But that's the one thing that, you know, I would love to see.
Respect. Go ahead and end us off.
This is for everybody. I really want everybody like to know, you know, who you really serve. You know, you only serve one person, and that's God.
True.
You know, people always, you know, worry about what this person and that person think. Like, you know, are you serving them or are you serving God? Like, you're supposed to be doing what He has planned for you.
True.
And,
Facts.
you know, I just had to recently think about that myself because, you know, I'm thinking about while I'm doing this and that, it's because, you know, I'm thinking about what this person wants me to do. Like, you know, that's like if you with a female, you know, you might do the things that she would want you to do.
Right, true.
You know, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Like you said, like I said, you have to serve one person, and that's God. So
True.
I want everybody to have that mindset.
That's dope. That's dope.
Facts.
Hey, that's beautiful, man. I appreciate y'all for coming through. Shout out y'all Instagram. Shout out y'all information. Shout out anything they need to know. Shout out where do you get these fresh ass shirts from?
Roll it, Shawn.
Go ahead.
My Twitter is @1ShawnT.
Okay.
My Instagram is Subtweet Shawn 1.
Perfect.
My Facebook is my name, Dorian Francis, spelled Dorian, last name Francis, Francis. Instagram, NOLA Experience, experience with an X.
True.
No E. And
we're gonna have it here too somewhere.
Yeah, nah, it's all good. Like to get the shirts right now, it's just I have people to DM me on Instagram or Facebook.
You better get one
to
for the price
official
go up.
website.
You better get one for the price go up.
Yeah, it's all love.
Right, it's all love. And we're gonna end on that note. We send y'all much peace, prosperity, love, and greatness y'all way. Have a great day. We out.
Peace.